Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Night Ryker here. A beautiful Labor Day. Weather is perfect to ride outside. I hope you got a chance to ride as well. And happy Labor Day to everyone. I want to thank everyone for subscribing, all my subscribers. I want to thank you guys for the support. It means a lot. Tells me that you guys are enjoying the content and what I'm bringing out. I also appreciate all the comments because that gives me a chance to interact with you guys and talk about Ryker and you know, anything to do with Ryker or open air motoring. You may have noticed I got a new camera. I got a GoPro 360 GoPro Max, and I don't even know how to use it yet. so I'm just using you know, one of the lenses that is turned back towards me, because I was watching some of my videos and I realized, you know, just watching one angle could be kind of boring at times. And to be honest with you, I kind of prefer the point of view angle, because that kind of shows you exactly what I'm seeing and, you know, what I'm dealing with on the bike. So that's actually one of my preferred viewing angles, but I thought I'd switch it up a little bit and just get another camera. Hopefully it'll come out all right. So let's see. I haven't decided yet if I'm just gonna put a small box down there with the rear view camera, or if I'm just gonna put some shots in periodically. No idea yet. It's just something that I'm gonna experiment, and you guys let me know what you prefer so once you watch this video. Anyway, so I came out a few days ago. I came out with my 5 things that I like list, and I got a good response on that. So I figure I was always going to do a 5 things that I dislike list. So this is going to be a quick video on the 5 things that I don't like. A lot of these points are going to be 2-in-1 kind of a deal, because they might be directly related to one another, but again, these are my own this list of 5 is in no particular order, and this is going to be my own opinion. It's going to be based off of my experience, so you may or may not agree with me or share the same thought as me, but just so you know that these 5 things are based off of my experience and my opinion. So I want to start with number 1, which is to me very important. So number 1 thing I dislike is going to be the dealer network here in Atlanta. The dealer network and the service centers. So I mean, I'm talking about in the area where I am. So I've got Roswell, I've got a little bit of Alpharetta, you know, Ackworth, Kennesaw, Marietta, Smyrna area. So the biggest dealer of Can Am we have here is Mountain Motorsports. There's a smaller dealer up in Cartersville named Extreme Propulsions, and I'll get back to that in a minute. But my buying experience, I'm not going to go into details. You can see my video on the buying experience, and you know, buying experience has not been very good. They made a mistake. They fixed it. Eventually they fixed it, but they only fixed it after I made them aware of the mistake. I mean, had I not done that, I was screwed. So like I said, not going into detail, you can watch that video. It's called my buying experience. And you know, you know, except the GM who did the loan, made the mistake and fixed it. There was nobody else who apologized. The guy, the smart-ass guy who had me sign my papers, you know, just acted like everything was cool. It was normal, you know, no apology, nothing. The guy verbally is telling me what my loan is, and I'm signing the paper because at that time, you know, I'm making an emotional purchase as well, you know. So I signed the papers trusting the guy that, hey, what he's saying is what's on the paper. When I go home, I read it, it's completely different. So, and then the guy's like, you know, who told you about that loan term? And, you know, really started to deny stuff, which thank God the GM was a solid guy and he admitted to his mistake, took care of it. So my buying experience with the dealer was not good. Coming to service, I haven't had great service experience either, and I haven't even had my first oil change yet. So There's another video where I say I finally got my Ryker back after a couple of weeks. My handlebar had a little bit of a situation where it just go off center after hitting just irregularities on the road, not potholes or manholes, just small bumps, and my handlebar would go off center. Took the bike over. Can Am sent a brand new assembly to put the handlebar on, and when I got my bike, you know, the service reps just aren't smart enough, or they don't put in the effort. They'll follow up, which is great, but you know, that doesn't mean anything if you don't take a few minutes to talk to the tech, understand what they did to the bike, what were the solutions, why he went with that solution, so that way when you have questions for the service advisor, they are prepared to answer your questions. You know, makes them seem professional. Don't think they put the effort. I can't speak to all of them. There's just one person who I've dealt with, and I'm not very happy with. Got my bike back. First of all, it was filthy. You know, they obviously had it parked outside, it rained and whatnot, didn't bother to wash it. So, you know, I mean, no idea why they didn't wash it. So you know, the guy was just, you know, getting a rag and trying to, like, you know, wipe the dust off with a rag. I was like, just leave it, man, I'll wash it. You know, I don't want you to further scratch my bike with a dry rag, walking, you know, trying to take off all the dirt. But as soon as I sat in on the bike, I wasn't even outside the service center yet, and the handlebars were crooked. And I was like, are you kidding me? You've had this bike for 2 weeks. You're telling me nobody did a test drive to see if the handlebars are straight? They didn't do a test ride. The guy takes it back to the tech, comes back and says, according to the tech, the bike is within specs, or, you know, it's just perfectly all right. I'm like, BS, it's all right if you've got eyes. And if you're not blind, sitting on it and tell me the handlebars aren't crooked. So as I was arguing with the guy was just pretty much telling me, pound sand. A junior tech coming back from lunch overheard our conversation, who apparently worked on the bike as well, and came over, sat on it, and immediately told me that the handlebars are not straight. They should be dead straight, and it's a 2-minute fix. I'll fix it right now. I don't even have to take the bike in. At that point, the service rep just turns around, goes in, no apology, no nothing, you know, just a big fat middle finger to my face, kind of, and walks away. Nothing. So that's what I meant by that's why these you know, Mountain Motorsports is on my dislike list, because they're the major dealers here that have Can Am, and if this is how the service is going to be, you know, they're all smiles before you buy the bike. Once you buy the bike, it's business as usual for them. You're just a number, you know. So shame on you. I hope you get your act together. If you want to pay me a 6-figure salary, I'll straighten your service department out, because I'm in the service industry as well. So I know how to take care of a customer. And yeah, I mean, I in defense of the service manager, I have to commend him, because I wrote an email describing all my bad experiences. He called me back the next morning, and that guy knew his stuff, and he also knew who I was talking about before I even mentioned his name, because I hadn't mentioned his name in the email. And so yeah, I mean, there's all of that adds to the experience of owning a Can Am, and I think the dealer network is a lot to be desired. Now, I mentioned Extreme Propulsions earlier, and those guys are really good. They're a small business up in Cartersville, and they only deal with Can Am products, BRP products. So they don't have Yamaha, Honda, Kawasaki, and a million other franchises. They just have Can Am, and that's it. So they're very focused on the products. So I feel like they are a little bit more knowledgeable on the product. So unfortunately, I'm locked in on the service maintenance with Mountain Motorsports, so I won't be able to experience their service, but I've heard nothing but good things about them. And you know, here's another thing, and like I mentioned earlier, that, you know, this is based off of my experience. My brother-in-law bought a Yamaha from Mountain Motorsports, and he's got nothing but good things to say about them, so good on them. I'm sure they have a lot of customers who are happy, but I am not one of them, and therefore I am gonna speak my mind and tell you how I feel and what I've experienced with them. So number one, dislike. Sorry about ranting on number one, but that's a very important piece. Number two on my list is going to be the transmission / fuel mileage. So I know you might be scratching your head, because I had the transmission as my 5 things that I like, And yes, the transmission does have a few things that are working for it, that is good, that I like. But why I've put the transmission in my dislike list as well is because it's CVT. I mean, I don't know how many of you are car enthusiasts, but I mean, I've had a lot of sports cars and fun cars, and I don't know, just answer me how many of those fun and sports cars that you have ridden, owned, or read about or seen have CVT transmissions in them. There's a reason why they don't have CVT in them, because they are not meant to be taken out on curves and twisties and to the racetrack. You know, CVTs are more so meant for economical driving and getting better gas mileage. So I have much experience on CVT transmissions in bikes or scooters, but just looking at the cars, I mean, they're not very reliable unless they're made by Toyota or Lexus. You know, and most of the CVT transmissions are in regular cars that are meant for high mileage. You won't see a Miata, Ferrari, a Corvette, or, you know, a 370Z or any other fun BRZ. You know, any of those fun or sporty cars have a CVT transmission in them, because they're not meant for this. You know, they're driven by a rubber belt, and you know, I just don't believe they're meant for fun riding. Can Am Ryker being a fun riding machine, I'm not sure why they put a CVT in it, because it's certainly not helping the gas mileage. I mean, you know, I'm getting 150 miles to the tank. It's a 5-gallon tank, and I'll be honest with you, I mean, 30 miles per gallon is nothing to rave about. There are, you know, I get it, this bike's heavy, it's bigger, but you know, they put a CVT in it. The engine and you know, transmission combo should have at least returned closer to 200 miles a tank. That would have been really good. But this thing barely does 30 miles per gallon, and I'm sure the CVT is probably helping to that, to get to 30 miles per gallon, or 33 or 32, as some of you have mentioned are getting. But that's still not very good, you know. So that just means that if you plan on taking a longer trip with it, you know, you just have to stop and fill up more often, and you know, I'm okay with that. I just would have liked to see a little bit more or a little bit better gas mileage out of this Ryker. That's it. So CVT transmission is both a plus and a minus in my books, because of its reliability. It's kind of questionable, and being that this bike has only been out for 1 year, really can't speak to the reliability of the CVT transmission they have put in here and which company has made it. So I haven't done much research on it. If you know more about it, please let me know in the comments below. But CVT is going to be number 2 on my list of dislikes. So number 3 on my list of dislikes is going to be the quality control issues. So what do I mean by quality control issues? I mean that you know, you have a lot of items that are rusting up already. I don't have a whole lot, but I have a few pieces that I can already see rust on. A lot of people have said that the wheel hubs, between the wheels, they have rust down there. Mine doesn't, thankfully, but my bike hasn't seen rain yet. I do start to see some rust on this side, on the right side, but all I do, you know, the only water is seen is me washing it, and then I leave it out in the sun for it to dry properly. Got a hole here clearly threaded, and it's already rusting out. There's a couple of pieces down there I already see rust forming. So yeah, I mean, that's what I mean by quality. I think what I'd like to see next year model is better rust proofing, I guess, or better materials being used. I'm not going to go around about talking about the low quality of plastics they have used. The whole bike is pretty much made of plastics, and you know, that's probably to save weight or save money, or you know, it makes it cheaper to produce. And you know, to be honest with you, if one of these parts is damaged, then I do feel they're a little bit cheaper to purchase and replace versus, you know, if you had a full fairing bike or any other kind of bike, you know, with metal parts or painted plastic parts, you know, those parts could be expensive. So I'm just talking about the rust issue. So that's going to be the number 3 negative in my books, is going to be the rust issue. Number 4 on my list of dislikes is going to be the Can Am factory accessory add-ons. So I like the accessories Can Am makes. Let me just say this straight up. I do like the accessories that Can Am makes. They're easy to install. There's not a whole lot of tools required, so that is a plus. But some minus is a lot of their accessories are expensive. You know, they're not very cheap. Anything you touch is 200, 300, 400, 200, 100, 200. You know, it all adds up. You buy 4 or 5 things, next thing you know, you're spending $1,000, $1,200 on accessories. But what I don't like is that I've spent almost $400 on my link rack in the back. If you haven't seen that video, please go ahead. I've got a link rack and then a link case as well. So they're super easy to install. You know, the rack goes in place of the passenger seat, and then you can take off the case. It's just a snap, you know, a little buckle, that's it. And then you can put another bigger bag, smaller bag, a bunch of accessories that go on the link rack. So I think that is a cool thing they have done. It's definitely a plus. But what is not a plus is they don't lock into place. Why didn't they design a lock into place? If somebody knows what they're doing, they can walk up to the bike, couple of couple of seconds, forget taking 10 seconds, couple of seconds, I can unhook the whole rear top case if I have on, or my passenger seat, or the link rack, link bags, top case, whatever you have on there. It will take me 2-3 seconds to unhook it, slide it out, and walk away with it. I mean, that's just what a missed opportunity there by Can Am to put some sort of a mechanism in there for us to lock it. If if they don't have a lock in place, that's fine, but they could have put something in there where I could have just put a padlock in there, a small little wire lock or something to deter or prevent my bags, to get stolen. It's just, what an oversight by Can Am. That is like a huge negative for me for Can Am and the bags, because they did make such good products. They made good products, but I mean, it's no use. If somebody knows what they're doing, they can just walk up to the bike and steal something. I mean, I hope that doesn't happen. I'm just saying, it's not secure at the end of the day. This tang bag is pretty much one of the only tang bags you can get that's decent for the Can Am, made by Can Am. It's $100, but it doesn't lock. A couple of buckles and that's it. I know most of the tang bags don't lock, but my previous bike, I had a GV tank lock tang bag, and I tell you, that had a key and it locked into place, and all I had to do was put like a little padlock or a wire lock around the zippers, and that'll at least deter the thief away, from trying to mess with it. So that would be number 4 on the list. Before I get to number 5, the 5th item that I dislike, please take a moment to hit the like button if you like the video so far, and please hit subscribe. I do appreciate it if you can support us and hit subscribe. Alright, so getting to number 5 on the list, that's going to be handling right out of the box. Alright, now a lot of you guys may not agree with this and feel that the bike handles perfectly, no issues whatsoever, and that's fine. I mean, it's not like there's anything wrong with the handling, but what I felt when I purchased the bike, I took it to 2 wheels. I took it up to the mountains, and what else did I do? I started riding on the highway almost immediately, and I felt that the front was not planted enough. What do I mean by that? I mean, like when you're going in the twisties, it just felt that the flex was a little too much on the front 2 wheels. It made me feel less confident of making a turn as sharp as I can, or taking a turn as sharp as I can. So I would always take slow turns. Or when you're on the highway doing 80 or 90, I don't know if you've noticed this, but the bike tends to dart left and right a lot because of how light it is. So I don't know why Can Am did not put a stiffer sway bar from the factory to begin with. It's not like it messes with the comfort of the ride. It doesn't make the ride so harsh that it's going to mess with your back. I mean, the sway bar goes in front of you on the 2 wheels, way ahead of you. So it's not like it's going to be messing with the up and down or anything like that, where it's going to make you feel uncomfortable. So I don't know why they didn't do that, because I'll tell you, watch my sway bar video as well. Once I put the sway bar in there, I've seen a lot less motion, darty motion left to right on the highway, and while taking curves, the bike is much sharper than it was out of the box. And it feels like it's more planted. I feel a little bit more confident on the highway at higher speeds as well, because when you're doing highway speeds, a lot of places there you do 80-90 miles an hour on the highway. Now, you know, if you're doing that on the highway and all of a sudden you have to switch lanes like this, I gotta tell you, I was scared shitless without the sway bar doing that, because it felt like my bike had too much roll. And like I said, that could have just been me, but that's how I felt. And after putting the sway bar in, that took care of that a lot. And I mean, the bike handles really well to me. You know, it handles really sharp now, and I enjoy pushing the boundaries of it now, because I know how far I can push them. So, you know, the sway bar costs 150 bucks. You know, what was crappy was that the labor charge on the sway bar was as ridiculous, between $200 and $300 wherever I called. So, I mean, because they had to lift the whole front open and up and open the front of the bike and to put the sway bar in, it's not an easy job to do. So I'm just curious, why didn't they put the sway bar in from the factory? We could have saved $200-300 bucks, and I am certain that nobody who's got a sway bar in is going to say the ride is too harsh or uncomfortable. I don't even feel the difference in the comfort, and I would have gladly paid $11,650 instead of $11,500 for the bike, gladly. You know, instead of having to run around and dumping more money out of the pocket after buying the bike to get it set up to where it should have been in the first place. So I don't know, I just feel like they should have had a stiffer or better factory sway bar put in, because I know that a lot of you guys have put in Baja Rons and links and sway bars in there to make it handle better. So I know that the dislikes seemed very ranty. You know, like if you watch this video, you're like, screw that, I'm not buying the Can Am Ryker. So what I want to end with is to let you guys know, if I had to do it all over again, I would still buy this bike knowing what I know. I just would have liked Can Am to take care of some little things that they could have, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I love the bike. I'll be honest with you. Don't let my 5 things dislike list deter you from buying the bike. Please, if you haven't seen it, go watch the list of 5 things that I like about the bike, and I'll link it up top. And you know, to me, the likes outweigh the dislikes, and I couldn't put in more than 5. There are maybe more than 5 things that I like, and probably a few more dislikes that I could have added in, but these were the 5 major ones that I felt I wanted to share with you, and what I think that Can Am can do better, because I do love the bike. At the end of the day, I've had over 2,500 miles now in it, and knock on wood, I've had no issues except that handlebar issue. So, you know, I know they've got a bulletproof engine and it's a solid, reliable bike. I mean, just take care of a couple of little things and you could have more people happy out of the box. So anyway, let me know what you guys think, guys. Do you agree with my list of 5 dislikes? Do you have any to add? I know there's a few more that I could have added, but I didn't. Let me know in the comments below. Also, I do appreciate you hit the like button, hit subscribe. Look forward to your comments, and I hope you guys got a ride in on this beautiful day, and until next time, be safe.